Hello everyone and welcome back. Today's video, I am challenging myself, and not with a sewing challenge for once. Instead, I am trying to challenge myself to make better use of the costumes that I already have. Of course, I am sure most of you have heard about the concept of historybounding, which is not a new concept, and thank you to Morgan for that idea. But for those that don't know, historybounding is essentially taking historical pieces and wearing them as modern clothing. For me, I do this occasionally, but it tends to be more early 20th century pieces. So it's not as stark of a difference as, say, some of my Victorian or Regency or 18th century things, which I used to wear all the time, but I don't anymore. However, recently, you might have also discovered the joy that is cottagecore, because that is everywhere with its adorable nature feels and just very comfortable clothing and very Hobbit feel to it, which really also speaks to a lot of historical clothing. It just works well with things like full petticoats and bodices and fluffy sleeves, all of those sorts of things. It's coming back into regular fashion. So what better way for me to make more use of the historical clothing that I already have and keep up with the trends that I actually really like. I think it's a very interesting style. So I'm challenging myself today to see how many full outfits I can make out of just historical clothing that I have made. I am trying to not involve any of my modern stuff. I'm even trying to avoid as much of my vintage clothing as possible since it's still pretty modern in its feel. But we're going to see how many different outfits I can actually make up out of my closet, digging in. Unfortunately, some of the things I have are not going to fit me, so there will be some limitations in that regard, but I think there should be enough for quite a few outfits. And the best part is, once I've gotten through those outfits, I'm going to pick out my favorite 2 or 3, and they're actually going to go on a little field trip with me this week. Abby and I are headed up to Lake Tahoe to do some filming up there and a little bit of a mini getaway. So what better time to take a bunch of my historybounding cottagecore outfits and go dance through the woods. And I'm really excited to try and pull out some pieces that honestly I haven't worn in years at this point, and pretty likely to never wear again otherwise. So I think this is a really good challenge for anybody that does historical clothing of any type. I know not everybody is going to have the same quantity of clothing that I have, but I tried to pick some of the pieces that are more likely to be found in everyone's selection in terms of petticoats and undergarments, lots of good basics. So let's get started digging into my closet of doom and see what I can pull out and start putting it together. But hopefully this will all make sense and will help you figure out some great outfits of your own pulled from some of those beautiful things that you've made over the years but never have a reason to wear. So I was trying to think about how I wanted to go about this. What did I want to pull out first? My brain said the first easy thing would be going through all of the undergarments for the lacy white stuff, which makes sense from a perspective of where it's easy to start. However, I realized the hardest thing for me to get access to are going to be all of the boxes that I have, the big archival boxes full of the costumes I don't wear very often, and those I need room to put them on the bed and unpack them, so I'm going to start with those before I take up the entire bed space with stuff that's easy to get to. So that's why I'm starting where I'm starting. It's not necessarily the easiest place, but for me it will be. So far, I've pulled out a couple of things out of the bins that I think will work, and then I also pulled out a whole bunch of undergarments that are cute corsets, stays, that sort of thing. And then the big haul is all of my 18th century petticoats, because I have those in lots of different colors and great textures, and they'll just slip on over or under anything. So these are going to be kind of the really easy, really fast, how to make something into a full outfit. I do also have one apron that I pulled out just in case. I'm not sure I'm gonna be an apron person, but I think it could be kind of cute. So, nice colorful apron. So that is a good place to start with all of that. I have lots of petticoats. I just need to figure out some dresses and maybe a few vests, jackets, that sort of thing. One of the things that I pulled out of the bin, just sort of buried over here, is my 1815 Police, which is a really nice long jacket, and that will be probably for something the absolute perfect over accessory. I just don't know what yet. So I'm really excited about that one because I think it's going to be one of the perfect outfit finishers. But this gives me lots of petticoats, a few bodices, so now I can start digging through the things that are on my hanging rack, which will be a lot more things that I know will fit me. There were definitely a few things in the boxes that I passed up because they will not fit anymore. I will probably have a lot more interesting pieces that come out of the next section. I found some good bodices and belts and things from the Edwardian sort of Victorian era, so that's a good start. On to late Edwardian. Alright, so this gives me some really interesting pieces, but I feel like the thing I'm going to be missing the most is color. Obviously, a lot of the undergarments I'm about ready to pull are just white with some lace. A lot of the blouses that I have are just white or ivory. So I definitely need to find some other texture and color. I've been trying to find texture throughout this. There's definitely some color behind me, but I feel like I can do more with some smaller pieces, some accessories, little vests, something. So I'm gonna go dig, hopefully find something that will help sort of add some print and color to this range. I think I have everything that I'm going to need to start pulled. I didn't pull little accessories like headbands or kerchiefs or scarves or things because I have no idea where to start with that, and I have a lot. You might have noticed I have a lot of stuff that I've made in general. So what I am going to do, with the fact that I have too much pulled rather than too little, I'm going to try and pick out a few key pieces that I really, really want to make outfits out of and challenge myself with. And we'll start with those, figure out outfits to go with those key pieces, and then I'll dig through the rest of it and figure out what easier things I can make. First thing, I really love this purple skirt. It is sheer, so it's either going to need a long thing underneath it, like a chemise shift sort of situation, or I have a skirt that goes underneath it, but I think this would be really good for some sort of longer thing underneath. But I really like the color of this, so item number one. Item number two, this collar, which is technically not finished, but we weren't going to talk about that. It just needs to be lined. This is an artistic aesthetic movement collar that I embroidered with matching belt, and the tough thing about this one is going to be the fact that it's got a lot of colors in it. It needs to match things. It might actually match that purple skirt. We'll see. More complicated for me is making sure that it has some sort of top that goes underneath it that it looks right with, because it's got a really specific collar shape, and so it might not work with all of the things that can go under it, and I obviously can't wear this by itself. Third piece, I wanted to do some that are a little bit more traditionally masculine, some more tailored pieces. So I thought this vest would be absolutely perfect. It's got great colors, a lot of texture. I just need to figure out what either skirt or trousers, tops, that sort of stuff go with it, and maybe like a belt. Yes, I think there's some good stuff there. This is 1890s. Next, I wanted to make sure that I challenged myself to not just do sort of late 19th, early 20th century things. That's all really easy to make it modern. So Regency gown, more specifically 1790s. It's got kind of a drop front, but nice gathered thing. So I just have to deal with the length of this to make sure that it's still wearable and finished off around the waist. So another good early thing I think is going to be my summer stays. These are meant to be sort of 1780s, and I really like the color and texture, and I know that they're super comfortable, even if they are a smidge on the small side. But I think this would be super cute without much going on. Like, I don't think it's gonna need a ton done to the outfit to make it feel appropriate with this. So this is the one pair of stays or bodice that I really, really want to include. I might get some of the other ones in there too, but this one has to happen. I also figured I wanted some darker aesthetic in there. I wish I had something akin to the dress that I have on. I do not. I do, however, have this evening bodice from around the late 1890s, early 1900s, which is good black velvet. So this might suffice for something. Again, I'm not sure how comfortable it will be to wear on an everyday basis, but if nothing else, the idea of this, I will definitely take it and make a bodice more everyday like this eventually. I just want to see what I can manage with this first. While I have a lot of petticoats I definitely want to involve and some skirts, those are pretty simple. I don't feel like I need to build an outfit around those. Those will just kind of work. But the last really challenging piece I've got is this. This is a 1800 overdress, and it's usually belted in, and it's really, really cute on, but I have no idea how I'm going to make this into an everyday piece. I think it might need to go with a pair of black trousers. I don't know. We're going to find out. This is my big challenge piece because I love this. This is gorgeous and fun, and it's just so romantic and lovely. I need to figure out a way to wear it in something other than a completely Regency ensemble. And I think those are the main pieces that I definitely want to do. I have some other pieces that are wonderful, but I don't want to necessarily be like every single one of my vests, because I have really nice vests, but I don't need to do all of them. It almost seems cheating if I just keep doing the same thing. So I think there's some pieces in there that are a good start. I'm going to see what I can figure out for outfits to go with them, and then we will cobble together the rest of the pieces into a few more outfits. I decided to start with this first because it is probably going to be my most complicated thing. It's sheer, and I do have a bodice petticoat I can put on underneath it, which will take care of that. That is less of an issue, but it's also one, sleeveless, so it could definitely have something that goes underneath of it, but the problem is because it is off-white, like decidedly off-white, it's not going to look good with bright white underneath, or anything that's printed, or anything too crazy, because it's already got a stripe in it. It's already got a lot going on, and I definitely want the gathered bodice section in front to be somewhat visible. It doesn't have to be like completely, but somewhat. So that means I need something that scoops, or is completely open. Preferably more of a scoop because the skirt on this really, I need a sash around it or a bodice around it or something. But again, it's got the black band on the bottom and it's got stripes. So it can't be anything with crazy patterns or textures or anything too much. I realized what might actually look really cute, maybe, is that pair of summer stays. So this might look really cute over it because it's low enough. I'm going to need something under this. It's low enough that the gathering will still show. I have a feeling it's not going to lace completely closed in front, so you'll still see all of that there. And then I can put a sash over it, maybe a little jacket. I haven't decided yet on that. I think that's going to be trying it on, deciding whether it needs like a little vintage bolero jacket or whether maybe my Edwardian wool jacket will work. I don't know. So I think that's a good place to start, and that takes care of two of the things on my list right off the bat. So I like this combination, and we will figure out what other accessories need to go with it in order to give it some color and interest. Next, dealing with the black velvet bodice. with that, I realized I need some sort of shirt or something to go under it. And I have this really adorable chemisette shirt, which is sort of, I think I technically made this for 18 teens, but I think it was more 1820s, 1830s. It's got this really cute ruffled collar, which I think will be a nice juxtaposition to the sort of aggressiveness of the bodice. And then I have sleeves, which is really good. So start with that. And then I decided it needed some color, so I grabbed one of my more colorful madder red petticoats. I don't know if this is what I will end up using with it. There were a couple other colors that I considered, but I think this would be really cute. And I have another skirt this color, that's my Edwardian wool one that I was in my alterations video, but I think this petticoat feels a little more cottagecore to me. So I'm gonna try this, even though in reality I might wear it with the wool skirt more in real life, but I think this is really cute. So that plus some other accessory parts would be really nice. Next challenging piece, this riding shirt, because it is incredibly short in the back. It is longer in front, so that's less of an issue. It's more just I need something that covers the back or something that comes up really high on the waist. So I'm kind of taking this in a two-part way. So shirt, then I figure I can put probably my 1790s stays over that, which won't cover up the back necessarily. They are open in back and laced up, but it will kind of help keep the shirt from riding up underneath. And I think that'd be kind of cute. I really like the gathered effect and all the stuff on this, so I think that'd be nice to have. I'm also going to wear my higher waisted trousers that I made last fall, which should help with that. If they are either underneath the stays or belted over them, then that should sort of help with the waistline height issue. And to zazz it up a little bit, I'm not sure which is going to work yet, but I'm either going to go with my 1890s vest or my 19 teens jacket. I'm hoping the vest will work because then I can still see all the little ruffles around the sleeve ends of the shirt, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. Maybe one of the other vests will work instead. I'm gonna try it, but the jacket is also an option. Next up, the vest. I'm kind of limited on choices that go underneath of this. The wool is a little itchy to me, so I can't put something underneath it that doesn't fully cover where this is going to be up against my skin. So it's got to be my 18th century men's shirt. There's just not another option that I've got aside from an 18th century women's riding shirt, which is the same thing but super short. And I don't think I necessarily need to be dealing with that length issue. So, men's shirt. I could put trousers with this, which would be kind of expected with the vest. I could also put a really bright colored petticoat with it. I thought about that, but I also have this really pretty wool one, which has like a little nice stripe in it, and it matches really well. So I know it's not the most exciting color combination, but I don't have any like red or dark green in petticoats. So I am a really boring person when it comes to color in my everyday stuff. I need to up that. So this is where I'm going to start with that, and I think that'll open up opportunities for me to pull out some of my more printed, colorful kerchiefs or something in that range. And maybe I'll even double layer the petticoat. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. It just gets really heavy. So, but that's a good place to start for the next one. Okay, I'm gonna kind of cheat on this one because, like I said, this collar, though adorable, only goes with things that have good collars for it in terms of things. So yeah, it's gonna go with the blouse that I made to go with it originally, which is this really pretty pin tucked thing. It's just so cute and it goes so well with it. So that's gonna happen, and then much like I said earlier in my video where I realized This has some really adorable little purple French knots in it. I'm gonna use the purple skirt. So I think that's gonna be a little adorable for my usual nature, but I think this is gonna be good. And I definitely feel like this is gonna have to have something like really fun for shoes or head stuff or something. I don't, because it kind of covers like accessories. Like I don't need belts or anything with this. It's got its own belt, but we'll see what I come up with to add for accessory bits for this. But I think color-wise, this is going to be adorable. Next thing that I realized is a little bit of a challenge to me is that I really like my chemise from the mid-19th century. I like the fact that it's kind of off the shoulder, a little lacy, and then I had to figure out what could go over it, because obviously it's long, it needs a skirt to go over it. I'm not shoving this into a pair of pants. And it needs some sort of bodice or top that goes over it. Thought maybe this would be a good place to use this vest. If this doesn't work, then I'll go with one of the pairs of like stays or something, but I think this would be super cute over that. And then to match, I have this petticoat, which is one of my favorites of all time, and I have worn this thing to death. I'm still surprised it's together. But the stripe in it is so lovely, and that matches with that. So that's a really cute, really simple outfit that I think would be really comfortable. So outfit number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Outfit number 6. I'm not gonna lie, this thing is baffling me completely. And I think I'm just gonna have to try it on with stuff. So I pulled out 3 blouses that I have that can go under it. One of which is Edwardian, the other 2 are 1930s, a black one and a white one. I have no idea what sort of neckline is going to work with this thing, if any of these. And I also just grabbed a pair of black trousers that I have that are off of a menswear pattern from around 1900. So, I don't know. This one is really going to challenge me, and it's really going to require me trying a lot of stuff on. I can't just visualize this one. So, here's hoping one of these will work. Do I have a dress that this could go over, like a more vintage? That's also a possibility. We're gonna see where I end up. I have a couple of like vintage black dresses. I was trying to not go too far into all of my like 1930s, 40s stuff because I feel like that just gets too easy. But maybe this one's gonna take some experimentation. Okay, I am admitting defeat when it comes to the yellow overgown because I tried it on with a lot of different tops and it needs a scoop neck. And the only scoop neck I have is this one that I was wearing, which isn't technically historical, but here's the thing. It's basically a sleeveless kirtle. So if I just had an early 16th century kirtle with the waist seam and like a 16th century smock, 100% could rock this over that. So it's temporary defeat because those things are getting made anyway. So, close enough. So that is all of the outfits that I have come up with at this point and put together. I am going to pick out a couple of my favorites, and those are going to go up to Tahoe with me tomorrow, so that way Abby and I can do some amazing photo shoots in the forest with the cottage and just be super adorable and cottagecore. you.